Good afternoon, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School, and I'm here today to bring you some exclusive content. I have in my possession the only Mora Bushcraft Pathfinder on U.S. soil. This knife has traveled from Outdoor Retailer to the SHOT Show to a couple other shows with Industrial Revolutions and Light My Fire. It's been photographed and handled by several people, put on the internet as reviews or whatever the case may be. Of course, you know my opinion on that. You can't review anything until you've used it. I have the only one. This is it. This is the one that's been around, that there's pictures of all over the internet, on blogs and things like that. This is that knife. It's called the Mora Bushcraft Pathfinder. I'm not making a single dime because this knife is called the Pathfinder. So I want you to realize that beforehand, because the MSRP set by Mora, not the Pathfinder School, not Dave Canterbury, by Mora, is almost or right at $100 for this knife. Do I think it's worth $100? I think it's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. I don't like the price of Cadillacs, so I don't buy one. I don't complain about it, I just don't buy it. Let that be a word to the wise. It's quite a bit bigger than the Bushcraft Black. It's made of the same steel, has the same blued blade, and exactly the same handle. We're going to compare them side by side. I've already beat the crap out of this knife quite a bit. Again, I'm not going to review anything until I'm confident in its quality. But we're going to take an up-close look at this knife, compare it to the Bushcraft Black, do some Bushcraft type tasks with this knife, put it through some abusive tasks as well, to show you what the quality of this knife is, and you can decide what it's worth to you. The Pathfinder School does have an exclusive on the first shipment of these knives into the U.S., Self-Reliance Outfitters and the Pathfinder School. And we will have them on our website on arrival. They are not available currently anywhere in the U.S. This is the only one on U.S. soil. They should be in a few weeks, and we'll have them on our website as quick as we can after that. Let's get to the stump. Okay, so let's talk specs first. This knife is made from the same material that the Mora Bushcraft Black is, a high carbon steel, has a blued blade. It's fairly thick. I'm guessing it's close to over 1/8 of an inch anyway. Somewhere between 1/8 and 3/16. Same handle, just black here instead of green. The blade, however, is much larger than the Bushcraft Black. The blade is 6 3/4 inches long on this knife. The blade on the Bushcraft Black is 4 1/2 inches long. It's also much wider. Has the same hard 90-degree spine, same razor edge on it from the Scandinavian grind. However, this length is very conducive to a lot of things that I like. Because it's a butcher knife style design, it fits better with the things that I like to do and carry with my knives. If you look across the frontier for the last 300 years, most of the knives have been carried have been between the 5 to 6, 7 inch range, some of them as much as 11. But all of them were either a trade knife or butcher knife style design for the most part, and this is a nice butcher knife style design. So this knife is going to be very good for processing large game and things of that nature. But that's not enough. It has to be able to do bushcrafting or woodcrafting tasks as well, and that's what we're going to look at first. Let's talk real quick about the sheath for this knife, because I really believe that this is the weakness of this whole knife, is the sheath. It's set up, first of all, right here's the original label. It says Bushcraft Pathfinder Outdoor Knife. Mora's label on the back, their barcode. This thing's set up to be MOLLE compatible, so you can strap it to the side of an assault pack or whatever the case may be. It's made out of a heavy nylon web strapping type material. It has a plastic insert inside here that the blade fits in that will go in either right or left-handed. It has a snap here for your retention. I don't like that because of this. I'm walking through the woods and I catch that thing on a branch, now my knife is loose. I don't like snaps. Snaps fail. This molly system set up to thread through here is okay. The idea was pretty good. The sheath to me is not something I'd carry every day. At Self-Reliance Outfitters, we are already working to circumvent that issue. We have two sheaths that we are going to have available for this knife aftermarket. The first one is a leather sheath that's made exclusively for this knife. It's a custom brown leather sheath with the Pathfinder logo. Nice heavy welt. This one happens to be right-handed. You can see it fits in there nice and tight. We also have a custom Kydex sheath built in our shop at Self-Reliance Outfitters, especially made for this knife. That fits it really well. This would be my preferred carry for a knife of this type design over leather. If this thing had, you know, wooden handles and all that good stuff on it, I'd carry it in leather, but it's already got rubber handles, things like that. Kydex isn't going to hurt it any. Now, let's talk about the capabilities of this knife first. To me, this knife is going to have to be capable of processing some pretty good sized lumber if needed. Logs like this are the reason I say knives need to be bigger than 4 inches. A log the size of this is going to be structural for anything that you want to build, no matter how permanent it has to be for a self-reliant scenario. And this log is about 4 inches in diameter. So once I bury this knife into this log, batoning it, I've got to have something to beat on besides my hand. These are not full tang knives. There are Mora knives that are full tang, sold in Europe, but there are none that I know of in the US that are full tang. They're a 3/4 tang knife. It comes down to about right here. I'm not afraid to baton this knife in the least. Try to get this in the camera where you can see it. Bang on this handle a little bit. Get this thing straight. I'm not afraid of breaking this knife. I'm really not. This is abuse of this knife. To do this, unless you absolutely had to, would be ludicrous. Okay? But I'm not afraid to beat on this knife, because I don't think it's going to break. That is a lot of abuse to a knife right there, especially one that's not full tang. That's a tough knife right there, boys. That's a tough knife. That's a piece of solid, wet hardwood. Look at the hardwood inside that thing. That thing is rock hard. That knife is none the worse for wear. Alright, we just abused the crap out of this thing. Let's see if it stayed sharp. bark off of here. Nothing wrong with that. Well, folks, I thank you for joining me out here today for this video, just giving this Mora Bushcraft Pathfinder the once-over. I appreciate all your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all of our affiliates, sponsors, friends, and instructors. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.